This is in response to Dr. Paul Krugman's article in the New York Times on Monday, July 6th, 2015, Ending Greece's Bleeding. Now, the voters in Greece voted overwhelmingly not to take continuing austerity measures from the European banks. And according to Dr. Krugman, that is a good thing. We'll have to see exactly what's happening. I'm speaking Monday morning, and the gas is down almost 5%. The markets are down somewhat. It looks like Europe is taking it somewhat in stride. We'll see what happens in the United States. But Dr. Krugman indicates this is a good thing. And of course, the good thing is the fact that the Greek government, backed by its people, basically said, we are not going to take these continuing austerity measures. And Dr. Krugman equates that to medieval doctors. In fact, I used to hear stories that that's what happened to George Washington, is he had this bloodletting, is he had pneumonia or something, and they thought that the best thing to do was to bloodlet. And they take blood out, and then you get better. And of course, it's just making your death more inevitable. So yes, the Greek people said, we do not want continuing austerity. It hasn't worked, and it can't work, because the math clearly indicates through the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, that it cannot work. So what's going to happen now? Now, Dr. Krugman brings up a couple points. Number one, if the European banks in a day or two or three, just go ahead and start lending money to the Greeks, because right now the Greeks they don't have a lot of money in their own of their own right now, and they don't. They've had the banks closed for a couple of days in Greece. And things could get very ugly. But if the European banks lend to Greece, then it's basically indicating that this whole deal was political. It was all political on teaching Greece a lesson for their overborrowing. And of course, no one from those banks is going to take any responsibility for over-lending. So again, that would clearly indicate that it is political if the banks start lending again. Now, if they don't lend, what's going to happen? Will Greece have to create a whole new currency? Will they have to go back to the drachma? Or in essence have parallel currency with the euro as this whole thing is worked out? Because euro, they won't let them. Now, what Greece is advocating for, and this was the highest vote came from the young people in Greece, is we want permanent debt relief. And what that means is take it all away. And of course, the younger ones in Greece, the millennium, whatever it is, 18 to 30 years old, are saying, this isn't even our debt, and you want us to pay for the next 25 years to pay this shit down. No, that's done with. We want to move on. We need to to work. Because Greece has an exceptionally high, I think the unemployment rate is like 26%, and for young people it's even higher. And of course, why are the banks being so stringent? Is it because they don't like the leftist Greek government and they want to, get them out? They want to pay, they want to do them damage. Now. What is left? Can you leave the euro? That could be the best option, because as has been mentioned before by Dr. Krugman and many others, that if Greece had their own currency, similar to what other European countries have had before they joined the euro, and let's just say Argentina beforehand, they devalue their currency, it makes their exports cheaper, it makes it go into live in Greece or visit there, because Greece does have a very thriving tourist industry, a lot less expensive, and then they can work their way out of it that way. Can that be done? I don't know. But Dr. Krugman aptly points out, hey, when you really think about it, the financial crisis of this whole thing, the damage has already been done. Leave the euro, devalue, work your way back. Because if the banks insist on having these austerity measures, you'll never get out of it. And the whole thing is that Greece, in essence, for the last 60 years, with these austerity policies, they have paid for their sins many times over. It's time to find a solution and bring it to a close and bring the banking system back in order. Because, for basically, this is a bellwether for Greece and for other smaller countries in the euro. Because what the euro does not provide is a way to give any type of help for any countries who are in problems while they're in the euro. And as Dr. Krugman then aptly points out, we need to stop the bloodletting. We need to stop the bloodletting now. We need to find a solution, and we need to move on.